I never planned to tell this story. Even now, as I type these words, my hands feel strange, like they do not fully belong to me anymore. For a long time, I tried to convince myself that what happened was just stress, lack of sleep, or my mind playing tricks on me. I wanted a normal explanation. I needed one. But the problem with lies you tell yourself is that they stop working when reality refuses to stay quiet. And this story does not stay quiet. It follows you, it waits, and sometimes it watches. I was living alone at that time, a small rented place on the edge of town. Nothing special. Quiet streets, few neighbors. The kind of place where nights stretch longer than they should. I liked the silence back then. Silence felt safe. I worked late, slept late, and rarely spoke to anyone. My life was boring, predictable, and empty in a comfortable way. That is why what happened next felt so wrong. Horror does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it slips in gently, like it was always meant to be there. The first sign was not a sound, it was a feeling. Every night, around the same time, I felt watched. Not imagined, not dramatic, a simple, heavy awareness, like someone standing just behind me. I would turn around quickly, heart racing, but there was never anyone there. The room stayed the same. The walls, the door, the shadows. I told myself it was nothing. Humans are good at ignoring things when they are afraid of answers. A few days later, I started noticing small changes. My bedroom door was slightly open when I was sure I had closed it. The chair near the window faced a different direction. My phone battery drained completely overnight, even when I did not use it. These were tiny things, easy to explain, easy to ignore. But the timing was always the same. Always late at night. Always when I was alone. Then came the footsteps. They were soft, slow, barely audible. At first, I thought they came from outside. Maybe a neighbor, maybe an animal. But the sound always stopped right outside my bedroom door. I would sit up in bed, holding my breath, listening. No knocking, no movement. Just silence so thick it made my ears ring. When I finally gathered the courage to open the door, the hallway was empty. Every time. I stopped sleeping properly after that. Sleep felt dangerous. Dreams felt worse. In my dreams, I stood in long hallways that never ended. Lights flickered above me, and somewhere far away, I heard a child crying. Not loud, not desperate, just sad. Like she had been crying for a very long time and had forgotten why. I never saw her face in those dreams, only her outline. Small, still, waiting. The first time I saw her awake, it was not at night. That is the part that still makes my stomach tighten. It was late afternoon. Sunlight filled the room. I was sitting on my bed, scrolling on my phone, trying to distract myself. I remember feeling unusually calm. Too calm. Then, in the reflection of my dark phone screen, I saw someone standing behind me. Small shoulders, long hair, completely still. I froze. Slowly, very slowly, I turned around. She stood near the door. A little girl, maybe 12 or 13. Pale skin, simple dress, bare feet touching the cold floor. Her hair covered most of her face, but I could see enough to know something was deeply wrong. She did not blink, She did not breathe. She did not move. She just looked at me, like she had been there longer than I had. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run, but my body refused to listen. After a few seconds that felt like hours, she took one small step back, then another, and then she was gone. Not walking away, not fading, just gone, like she had never existed. I did not tell anyone. I could not. How do you explain something like that without sounding insane? I tried logic, hallucination, exhaustion, fear. I even went outside, forced myself into crowded places, stayed awake until morning. But no matter what I did, the feeling followed me home. That night, I heard her voice for the first time. It came from inside my head. Not loud, not threatening, just a whisper. I know what you did. I sat up in bed, shaking. My heart pounded so hard I thought it would break my ribs. I whispered back, asking who she was, asking what she wanted. There was no answer, only silence. But somehow, I knew she was smiling. The next morning, I found something that made my blood run cold. On my bedroom mirror, written in small, uneven letters, was a name. Sarah. I stared at it for a long time. I had never told anyone that name. I had not spoken it out loud in years, and yet it stood there, clear as day, waiting for me to remember why seeing it filled me with dread. Because Sarah was not just a name. Sarah was a secret, and the little girl knew it. I did not sleep after I saw Sarah on my mirror. I sat on the edge of the bed with the lights on, staring at that word as if it could move. I even wiped it with a wet cloth. The letters faded a little, but they did not fully disappear. It was like the mirror itself wanted to keep the name. When morning came, I told myself I would leave. I would pack a bag, go to a friend's place, stay anywhere else. But the moment I stepped out of my room, I felt it again. That quiet pressure behind my shoulders, like someone standing too close, like a breath that was not mine. I tried to act normal the next day. I went to a cafe, sat near other people, listened to their voices, forced my mind to believe I was safe. It worked for about an hour. Then I saw it. Not her. Something worse. A little reflection in the spoon on my table. The spoon showed the room behind me, and for a second I saw a small figure standing in the corner of the cafe, perfectly still, hair hanging over her face. I turned around fast. Nothing. People talking, music playing, the normal world. But when I looked back at the spoon, the figure was closer. That is when I understood the first rule, even before I could explain it. She did not need darkness. She did not need my house. She only needed my attention. I rushed home because I was stupid enough to believe home was where I could control things. The second I entered my apartment, the air felt colder, even though the weather was warm outside. The hallway light flickered once, just once, like a blink. I locked the door, checked the windows, and stood there listening. The silence was not peaceful anymore. It felt organized, like it was being held in place by something that wanted me to hear every tiny sound I made. When I finally walked into my bedroom, my stomach dropped. The mirror was clean. The name was gone. For a strange moment, I felt relief. Then I saw what replaced it. A thin line of writing on the wall near my bed, like someone had pressed a finger into dust that wasn't there. Don't say it out loud. My mouth went dry. I whispered, "Say what?" And the whisper returned, soft and close, like it came from the space between my thoughts. "I know what you did." My whole body shook. I tried to stand tall, like a grown man, like fear could be pushed down with pride. But fear is not a thing you control when it is inside your home. My eyes moved around the room, searching corners, searching shadows, searching any place that looked slightly wrong. That is when I noticed the closet door. It was open a crack. I was sure I had closed it. I walked to it slowly. I reached out. My fingers touched the edge of the door. From inside the closet, something tapped back. Not hard, not violent, just 3 gentle taps, like a child knocking from the other side of a wall. I stepped away so fast I hit my bed. My heart was a wild animal in my chest. I wanted to run out and never return, but my legs felt heavy. Then I heard a soft sound, almost like fabric moving. The closet door opened a little more on its own, and I saw her. Sarah. She was not fully inside the closet. She was not fully outside either. It looked like she was standing in a thin space that did not belong to my room. Her hair still covered her face, but I could see one eye now, watching me through the strands. It was not a normal eye. It looked too dark, too deep, like a hole in the world. I could not speak. I could barely breathe. Sarah lifted her hand and pointed at my bed. Then she pointed at me. Then she pointed at the mirror. And even though she never opened her mouth, I understood her message in the most terrifying way. She wanted me to remember. That night, my dreams changed. They were not random anymore. They were guided. I stood in a place I recognized, even though I had not been there in years. A road near a water canal, old trees leaning over it, streetlights that barely worked. In the dream, I heard laughter, boys laughing, my own laugh among them. I saw my younger hands holding a stone. I saw a small shoe on the ground, white and dirty. I saw a girl's bracelet, broken. I woke up with my throat burning, like I had been screaming. But my apartment was silent. My phone showed the time, 3:17 a.m. I stayed awake, staring at the ceiling, until the time changed. 3:17 a.m. I blinked hard. The clock did not move. I checked my phone again. 3:17 a.m. I sat up. I walked to the kitchen. I turned the tap on, watched water pour, counted in my head. I checked the phone again. 3:17 a.m. My breath became short. My hands became cold. I was not stuck in a dream. I was awake, and yet time had stopped. Then, from the far end of my hallway, I heard a child's bare footsteps. Slow, calm, coming closer. I backed into the wall. No, please. A shadow moved across the hallway floor, even though there was no light source behind it. The air grew heavier, like my apartment was sinking into something. And then Sarah stepped into view, standing at the end of the hallway, facing me. This time, her hair did not hide her face. She looked like a normal girl at first. Pale, quiet, sad eyes. But the longer I stared, the more wrong she became. Her skin looked too smooth, like wax. Her smile was not a smile of happiness. It was the smile of someone who finally has you where they want you. She raised her finger to her lips, asking me to stay silent. Then she pointed to my phone. The screen flickered. A video opened by itself, even though I did not touch it. It was not a normal video. It looked like an old recording, blurry and shaking, as if filmed in fear. I watched, unable to look away. In the video, I saw a group of boys, teenagers, laughing, pushing, running along the canal road. I saw one boy clearly. Me. My stomach twisted. My mind screamed that it was impossible, but my eyes knew it was true. The video showed a moment I had buried so deep that I had convinced myself it did not matter, that it was not my fault, that it was just kids being kids. The video moved, showing a small girl standing near the water, her back to the boys. She was holding a little doll. She turned her head slightly, as if she heard them. And then the video ended. The phone screen went black. I looked up at Sarah, shaking so hard my teeth clicked. I forced out, "What do you want from me?" For the first time, her voice came from outside my head, like it floated in the room itself. It was soft, almost polite. "Say my name." I froze. The warning on the wall flashed in my mind. Don't say it out loud. My throat tightened. I can't. Sarah's expression did not change, but the air did. The hallway behind her looked longer, darker, like it stretched into a place that was not part of my apartment. I heard faint crying, far away, like it came from the end of that impossible hallway. "Say my name," she repeated. I shook my head. "Please, just leave me alone." Sarah tilted her head slowly, like a bird studying prey. "You left me alone." A cold wave moved through my chest. I felt my lungs struggle. My vision blurred at the edges. In that moment, I remembered more. Not fully, not clearly, but enough. That canal road, that night, that childish cruelty. That moment when things went too far. A girl crying, someone running away, and me choosing silence. I sank to the floor, my back against the wall, like my bones had turned weak. "I didn't mean." "Still," Sarah whispered. And then she lifted her hand and pointed at the mirror in my room. The mirror was visible down the hallway from where I sat. At first, it looked normal. Then the surface began to darken, like fog spreading across glass. A shape appeared inside it. Not my reflection. A water canal, old trees, flickering streetlights. The mirror was not showing my room anymore. It was showing the place from my dream. Sarah stepped closer to me, not walking like a person, but gliding like she did not need the floor. She crouched slightly, bringing her face closer to mine. Her eyes were wide and empty in a way I cannot explain. "Go back," she said softly. My mouth opened, but no sound came. My whole body screamed to refuse. But another part of me, the part that had carried guilt like a stone for years, knew refusing would not save me. And then Sarah's hand touched my forehead. The touch was cold,
but not like ice. Cold like deep water. Cold like being pulled under. The lights in my apartment went out. My phone screen died. The hallway vanished. For one terrifying second, there was nothing but darkness and the sound of distant water. Then the mirror shattered without breaking. That is the best way I can describe it. There was no crash of glass, no pieces on the floor. The mirror simply stopped being a mirror and became a doorway. A flat, dark opening, breathing cold air into my room. Sarah stood beside it, watching me, waiting. I could not stop myself. My voice came out thin and weak. Sarah. The moment I said her name out loud, the doorway widened like a mouth opening, and the air around me changed. It smelled like wet soil and old leaves. My ears filled with the sound of slow running water, and somewhere in the distance, I heard that same crying again. Closer this time, like it was coming for me. Sarah smiled, just a little, and she stepped into the darkness. I did not want to follow, but my feet moved anyway, because the most terrifying part was not that she was forcing me. The most terrifying part was that a part of me believed I deserved it.
If you are hearing this story at night, tell me something honestly. When you finished the last line, did you feel a small, strange coldness near your forehead? Because I did, and I am not sure I ever came back alone.